Hello, everyone. Welcome to the seminar Talk with the Expert, episode 8. Today, we have a special discussion with our legal team and amazing athlete. Let's introduce our legal officer advisor from IBSA, WorldAbility Sports and Virtus, Caio Medauar, and our incredible athlete, Alexander Hillhouse from Swimming Athlete, also a Paralympic athlete for swimming in the last episode in Paris 2024. Thanks, both of you. We have today a very incredible topic to discuss that. I tested positive on doping control. What's going to happen now? So let's start. Doping is a challenge and affect not only the integrity of competitions, but also the career of all the athletes by legal consequences, as we talked last year. Understand the potential consequence of positive tests and prohibited substance. It's vital for all athletes. We are honored here to have our incredible guests and our lawyer and athlete to specialize in anti-doping legal consequence. And we are going to have incredible insights for both sides about the consequence of have a positive test. So let's start with our lawyer. Thanks, Caio, for being here. It's an honor for us to have you part of the team, but also here today in a very early morning for us here in Brazil. Um, Testing positive for a prohibited substance can lead to serious consequences, as unfortunately we see sometimes, including suspension, damage of athletes' reputation, career, lost. You can lose some sponsorships to be forever tagged as a doped athlete. Involving all these situations, could explain to us the process of the case and the consequence for athlete's career and reputation, please, like step by step. How works this when we have a positive case?
Thank you, Juliana. Hello. Hello, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. And the process of anti-doping, when we have a positive case that we call adverse analytical finding, it's a very complex process, and it's a process previewed in the standards of WADA. So we have a rule in WADA, and all this process is the same for all athletes in the world. So that's the first thing. And the first step we have is to review all the data about the athlete and about the test. If you have any failure, any problem with the test in any phase of the test, the standards say is very strict in every phase of the test. And if the athlete has a therapeutic use exception, ou seja, TUI, so some athletes has this right to use some medicaments, and also some medicaments has a permitted route, like some eye drops. So all the situations we will see in advance before we start the process against the athlete. So if we don't have nothing of this, the all the standards were respect. The athlete doesn't have a TUI, and we don't have a permitted route for this substance, then we will need to go forward in the process. Important for all athletes to know that if he or she has all the documents about everything he used, like the eye drops I said, but everything is very important to know the the medicaments, the supplements, what he eats, and everything, because this will be very important during the process of the case.
Just a second. Yeah. So let's recap. If you have a positive test, the lab is going to send a notification for us for the International Federation. It's maybe some athletes doesn't know, but this is a very huge system that WADA has, that all the international federations, laboratories, other countries, they have access. So we call clear house. So if something happened in India, we here in Brazil, it's going to know it happened in UK people in Cairo in Egypt is going to know because it's that information or worldwide. So the lab received the sample become positive. The lab sent by this system to us, the International Federation. This part, it's maybe a little bit hard, but as soon as we receive Caio, for example, that is our lawyer, he's going to start the first procedures. And we include on this is check if the athlete has a TUI. This is why it's so important, guys, to have the therapeutic use exception. Because if we have a TUI, the paper is done. We not even open the case. We are going to close. This is very important. So please pay attention, check the medications that are using, and request a therapeutic exception if you have. Also, we are going to check during the doping control, what did you put on the form? Maybe it's a medication, something that we can start to study before. If you have a TUI or if you have a good explanation, like the eye drops for our blind athletes for glaucoma, we are going to close the case very fast. If none of this it's on place, like if you don't have a TUI or you don't have a good explanation why this medication become positive, we are going to continue the process. This is the hardest part for all of us. Thanks, Caio. So now we want to listen from our incredible athlete, Alexander. Alex, let's start from you as a professional athlete. Who will share these experiences or insights? Did you hear something before? Do you know anything about the positive case or even the hearing process, the sanctions that athletes can take for use a prohibited substance?
Well, I am trying to avoid every single time for doping because it's simply not the greatest thing to do. But if I do get a positive result, then I will probably be very disappointed, shamed by myself because all the hard work I put into it and all the training I do to it could be unnecessary because I'm not just only a swimmer. I am also a role model for all the virtuous athletes as well, and also the para swimmers around the world. And I want to continue being like that. And I'm trying to do everything I can to don't do anything like those bad stuff to do. I'm going to continue this sport without anything consequences or anything doping. So it is.
You gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. It's really incredible. You summarize what athletes must to do: training hard like you do, sleep, eat well, sleep well, and training a lot. This is for sure. It, you are a model athlete for us for Virtus. You are incredible. We are a Paralympic athlete also, and we are so honored to have you here. Thanks again. Thanks. Thanks for sharing with us these insights. Caio, we understood the first procedures for sure. What immediate actions should the athlete consider if this unfortunately notification happens with them?
Thank you, Juliana. And the first thing is the athlete must be close attention for the email. All the notifications and the communication to the athlete and everyone is made by email. We won't send a WhatsApp or whatever. We're going to send an email for the official email of the athlete. So it's not the excuse to say I don't see emails, I don't read my emails, I don't know what's going on, because the high level athletes must have email and must take care of this. It's very important for the athletes. And the first thing we do is to notify the athlete. We take all the information we have about the substance, about the athlete, and we send a notification for the athlete, because the athlete has the right to make a statement, to make a defense. So this is the opportunity the athlete has to explain what happened. So in this opportunity, the athlete may be suspended. They have provisional suspension especially with the athletes with more important substances like anabolics, like something heavy. But or if we have information about the intent of the athlete to be doped, to be not clean. So all those circumstances will lead for a suspension. And all this information will be in this notification. And that's why we have to say again that's very important for the athlete to know everything he does or she, everything he or she takes as medical things. It's the time to talk to all the staff, the coach, the parents, the doctors, because we must know what happened. We must understand what happened to have a positive test. That's what we do in this complex process to understand what happened, because the process is not only to give a penalty for the athlete, but to make the system better when we have a no intentional doping. That's very important to know, because once we ask the athlete for the explanation, we want the explanation and evidence about what happened. If it's very common to say that you have an emergency or something like that, and we need documents, and documents in English mostly, to understand what happened. We cannot just believe in what is reading in the version. We need documents, not because I want or Juliana, but because the rules of WADA say that we need some evidence of what happened. And this moment, we're gonna gather everything to understand if the athlete had or not intention, and how the degree of fault. It's very important to decide what's the penalty of the athlete. And we have to remember that the basic sanction is for years. So how this document or this version will come to us, we'll decide for 2 years, or if you're gonna make the degree of foul between no penalty, no sanction, or 2 years. That's very important. And also is opportunity for the athlete to say that, okay, I made a mistake. I really used the substance. And these cases might be if a non intentional doping might lead for a degree of fault, or there are some cases and we have a lower penalty even for intentional doping. So it's very important for this first response be very true and bring things. And the most important, Juliana, just to finish, is the athlete might have a legal advisor, but specialize in anti-doping. Our rules are very specific. It's very different from other um, laws, and every country has a law for everything, but the law and the rules for anti-doping are the same for the whole world. So the lawyer must be specialized. And after that, of course, if the athlete doesn't like the decision of the results management, it has the opportunity to have a hearing and to have another appeal. So that's mainly how the process will work for everybody.
Oh, thanks, Kai. It's a very complex stage for all the entire process. So highlight the informations here. First of all, the rules and the laws for anti-doping is the same for any athlete in the world, doesn't matter which country and doesn't matter which sport. It doesn't matter if it's a Paralympic, if it's disabled for II athlete, if it's a blind athlete or wheelchair athlete from fencing, for blind football or swimming. In Brazil, in India, in Jamaica, it's always going to be the same. This is the most important, guys. We know that some adaptations happen for us in our sport and our events, but for anti-doping, the rules are the same. Okay. As he said, please pay attention to the email box. Why? Because any contact is going to be by email box. When you are inside the doping control station procedure with the tests, given the urine, okay, they are going to make many questions like we talked the last session. One of them is maybe the one of the most important ones is the email address. If you are not confident in your email that you don't check your email box, you must to put the email, that email address of someone that you trust. If you are minor, for example, you can put your parents. Okay, so please don't avoid to provide this information because it's our main point of contact with you. So let's summarize. We have a positive test. The lab sent the information to us. We requested therapeutic deception or the explanation of the substance. We didn't find in the first procedures. We are going to continue the process. We send the mail to the athlete, and the athlete must to collect all the information as possible to explain why that substance was found in their sample. We call sample the urine, for example, or the blood. Okay, guys? So, for example, I'm Juliana, I'm an athlete for athletics, and my test become positive. I must send to our legal advisor, to our federation, explaining why I have that substance in my sample. Maybe because I was sick, maybe because I'm taking a special supplements, maybe because I'm eating special meat in a different country. So please collect all the information as possible, okay? And send it to us. As Caio said, the rules for anti-doping are very complex and specialist must be taken. So please looking for an anti-doping lawyer, not just a lawyer, okay? Because they need to understand the rules of anti-doping. And this is going to make a lot of difference during your process because they understand which document must be taken and sent to us, okay? If you don't know how to proceed, what you're going to do to send an email to us, the International Federation, because we have different departments. So I'm not going to share with Caio your questions, our doubts, like Juliana, what I must send. We are here to help you also to follow in the procedures, okay? So please, if you need support, we are here to help you too, okay? Alex, question. Do you know someone, any friend, colleague that passed for this situation? Like they was positive test, they felt, and they went to a hearing or they get an sanction. Do you know anyone from your environment that passed for this situation?
No, I don't. I don't know anything and anyone has done it, but I can imagine how it feels if they get a positive result after I said all the hard work they put into the sport. Not only just swimming, but all sport around the world, because it is the worst feeling of all time, maybe, if you want to think about that, because it's literally very intense to get a positive result, but it's I have not known anyone, but I can still how imagine how it is.
Yeah, probably it's the person gets very anxious, devastated, especially if it's an unintentional doping. Uh, Maybe it's a good reminder here to tell that supplements that you take sometimes can contain a prohibited substance, and you are using some supplements that they are so great, they are help me to improve my time or making me healthier. But some supplements, they carry not just the thing that you believe that inside the pot, but also they bring prohibited substance and problems for you. So please avoid to take supplements as much as possible. And for any health needs issue you need, please look for a doctor or a nutrition to prescribe the right supplements for you, and double check the bachelors that we also explained before, like Inform Sport, that if these supplements have been tested before, and check if there is any prohibited supplement, prohibited substance inside the supplement. Unintentional doping, it's something that can happen with anyone. Our athlete here, Alex, he's training very hard. He's sleeping, eating, doing the entire procedures. But you must to do the same, guys. You must to follow the instructions of your coach and your health department, okay? And please pay attention in everything that you eat and your consumption, because can be an unintentional joke and destroy all the work you have done, like Alexander said. You were working at least for 4 years to get the Paralympic Games here. Imagine just because you took a whey protein that you don't know where it came from and become a positive, how devastated it can be made, because our lawyers are going to give a sanction for you and you can miss the games. Okay? Did you understand, guys? Please pay attention what you're eating or drink. Uh, just one highlight here that I have in my notes. If you have a sponsorship, this is something that it can impact in your life, because your sponsorship can be stopped. They can stop to pay your salary mensually, like any company. Also, we can take back your medals or your records from the event. So please pay attention, okay? Moshi, you always have so incredible questions. That have you anyone today, or today was an easy day?
No, I do have a question. I always ask like simple questions which athletes or the normal people who don't know a lot about doping might have, because I don't know a lot about doping. So, my question today is, let's say that an athlete forgot to apply for TUI, and but when you and the athlete gets flagged up, they have tested positive after the testing, but in your system, you know after the testing that which component has been responsible for the athletes being tested. You know, as WADA's system, let's say ABC component shouldn't be taken, and this is why he's taking. But this athlete forgot to take the TUI. Now he has tested, but you also know in the system that it is because of some condition. It is a medical treatment, uh, essential medicine. So, in this type of cases, do you contact the athlete and verify it, or you sometimes think that no, maybe this is something in his some other document it is reflected that this athlete has got some condition because of that he is taken. So, what do you do? What is the process in these situations?
So let's check if you understood the question correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Our sample, the urine of our athletes, went to the lab and they found, let's give an example, Ritalin on the sample. The athlete doesn't have a Ritalin, doesn't have a Ritalin on TUI Ritalin to use, right? This is the question.
Yeah. Yes.
So we are going to split it in two answers, one from me from the TUI team and the one from Caio from the legal team. Yes. This is why it's so hard when we have a positive test, because we have an entire team working together. For a TUI perspective, okay, we need to understand if it's the case of retroactive TUI. I don't know if you remember, guys, we had here the Dr. Mori from the TUEC team, and he explained some steps from the TUI. One of them is a retroactive. Retroactive TUI, for example, if you are driving your car and had a car crash and it went to the hospital, and something you need to take as an emergency. This is an example of retroactive TUI. But we have 6 possibilities, okay? So maybe your case of your athlete to use a Ritalin can fit in one of these possibilities. One example, the athlete is not one international athlete and also is not a national athlete. How we are going to do if I don't know who I should send it to, the International Federation or the National Federation. So we are between both groups. It's one of the examples that we can provide you a retroactivity. And now is with our lawyer's decision. Caio, explain the second part.
Yeah, it's a very, very hard problem when we had this situation because the system as I said, it's like standards. So we very strict with some things, and especially this athlete must first of all try the heterotree TUI. That's the first step for those cases, but not always the athlete will be eligible for a retroactive tool. And that's the problem because most of those substances improve the athlete condition. The Ritalin is very important for the brains, and we have another substance. So, and most of those cases, this treatment might lead for a non-intentional doping, but also the athlete without a TUI, he will be sanctioned because it's obligation of the athlete to know the rules and to know that he or she must has a tool. So that's the key situation. Um, how was the situation? Because sometimes you have a high level athlete, and a high level athlete most of time know everything, has a good staff, so the degree of foul will be higher and the sanction can be higher. And sometimes depends of the substance, it won't lead for a non-intentional. Sometimes it's burden of the burden of proof of the athlete to prove. So it's very, very, very important to repeat that all those medical situations must be documented. Or say you must have all the documents from the doctor, from the labs, the exams, the prescriptions, and everything, because this will be used for the two committee. The committee needs medical documentations, and we need medical documentations to decide if it's intentional doping or not, and if the degree of foul of this athlete is higher or not. I can't say as a lawyer if he has a right of a two. Who will say will be the two commission. I can say about the intention and degree of fault, and then we will see if the sanction will be higher or lower.
Yeah. Guys, so remember, if you take a medicine, please double check if you need a TUI, because it maybe is the most common situation we have regarding medications. Also, include the medication you are taking during the anti-doping test, because we have a special square, a box there that you should fill with all the medication and supplements that you take in the past 7 days. This is going to prove our faith. It's the right word, faith, that we are trying to say to tell the truth. So you are not trying to cheat or avoid to tell that you're not taking. It's just a misunderstanding that sometimes you don't know what you should do. So please inform everything that you take. We have many athletes here for the OIFs taking Ritalin as an example. And Ritalin is prohibited just in competition. But as you know, you cannot stop the treatment before the competition. So please, if you have any question, send it to us, to the International Federation, to Virtus, WorldAbility Sports, or even IBSA. We are going to answer you the questions regarding the TUI. We are here for this, to avoid any positive tests. We want to avoid you to have an email from Caio telling that you committed a positive test. Okay, guys? As I said yesterday, if the email is coming from me, don't worry. Usually it's a friendly email, but coming from the lawyer, that something happened. You need to take the task and find a solution. Any other question, Moshi?
You,
No? Go.
do you have one more? Okay.
I love your
Well,
questions.
I think it could be a simple one, but you know how the WADA keeps updating their prohibited substances list, and it comes out at the end of the year and all, but it's effective from 1st of January. Now, let's say that there is a competition happening in December and an athlete tests positive for a substance which is not prohibited in 2025, but it is in the list of 2026. So what do they do in these type of cases?
Good questions. Let's share the question again, me and Caio. WADA has indeed a list that taking force in 1st of January of each year. Usually, the substance just improve in the list. It's harder to the substance leave the list. Usually, just we include a new one and a new one. That can happen sometimes. For example, caffeine, many years ago, I think 2024, if I'm not wrong, I don't remember, it was on the list and it's not anymore. Like alcohol, also many years ago was on the list and it's not anymore. But usually we just include new substance. So, like we did the last month, we posted the list for 2026. So go to the website and check if your medications are part of the new list of 2026. But as you asked, if I test in 2024-5, the list is going to be 2025. Doesn't matter if 1st of January we have a new medicine. You had been tested on 2025. So interesting, maybe a curiosity. Usually we open the tests, the samples 10 years later from the Paralympic Games. So in 2012, we had the samples collected in London. 2022, we reopened the samples to test again because we have better machines to analyze the samples. But the list that we check is not the list of 2022. We use the list of 2012, sorry. Use the list when we collected the sample because it was the rules on time. Okay, so pay attention to the list. Pay attention to the update. Go, Caio, you now.
No, it's important to note that the lab won't search for substances, the new substances. The lab will search only the substances from 25. That's the first thing. The out of competition tests, the lab only search for out of competition substances. So that's something technical. But also there's something different in anti-doping from other parts of law. That's if you have a positive in 25 and the substance is not prohibited in 26, you will still have your sanction because you committed an infraction here. Is very different, for example, from most of countries in criminal law. If something is not a crime anymore, we can go to the judge and say, hey, it's not a crime. I can be buried, but not in anti-doping. Anti-doping is about some ethics. So during that year, it was not permitted a substance. So yeah, you're gonna have this sanction for all the period, even if the substance get out of the list. It's rare. We know it's rare, but it can happen. We know it can happen.
And Alex and Anders, do you have any questions that you would like to take the opportunity that Caio is here?
No, I think we are all good. And yeah.
Perfect. Unfortunately, the time is running. I would like to be here for an hours talking about this because I love this subject. But it's the last day is our talking with the expert. So I would like to say thanks for all the athletes we had here and the past imams. Thanks for all of our guests here from different departments, different knowledge. And a special thanks for Musumi Moshi, because she's the head of this project with me. She not just posts on the Virtus website, but she really creates this project with me. So Thanks, Moshe, for your hard work. It's incredible what you're doing. And I truly believe that many athletes have been impacted and are going to impact it because we save this, record this, and save on our website this video. And we know that our job maybe sometimes a little bit small and not visible. We are make the invisible visible. This is our brand for Virtus. We are making the invisible visible, and this is our task here also to make some pills, some drops from anti-doping, maybe to achieve many athletes. So thanks so much, Mosh. Thanks, Virtus, for all your support in this 10 years with anti-doping. Thanks, IBSA and the WorldAbility. We had worked very hard with our athletes, Paralympic athletes and adaptive sports also for power chair hockey, for para dance, for showdown. We have here so incredible athletes for so many sports. Thanks again. Next year, we have a new project. So we are going to create new tools for you athletes, some of them specially designed for Virtus athletes. Okay, so be prepared. Thank you so much for this year. We wish you incredible new 2026 with a lot of competitions and medals to our athletes, please. And remember, the real champs play clean. Thanks all of you, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.